Hi, this is IK. Welcome to Axios library. Here is a app.js topic component, and use effect hook function is here. And inside of use effect, in body of parameter arrow function, we have Axios library, Axios API for HTTP hypertext transfer protocol request. Concretely, here is a GET hypertext transfer protocol GET request. And that GET request, that GET method of Axios, there is address. Web address of endpoint. Here, endpoint here is on the server one array on the server, on the mock server, and this is address of that array in mock server. And get method get that endpoint here. Endpoint address, and it means that in this action we connect get method connect server, mock server, and after that we have a method 10, and that method 10 have arrow function, call arrow function, and that arrow function in parameter there is a response. Response is answer to request. Request, first we have request, after that response. It is a hypertext transfer protocol. It begins when a web began. Tim Lee Berners and his team create that hypertext transfer protocol, and must be request and must be response. Here we take that response, and in that response must be okay, not okay, problem this, problem or no problem. Here is the data, and in that response is complete array from server. Method get asking complete array from server. It is array, members of that arrays is post. And in body it is through parameter, response through parameter here, and in the body we use that array response dot data. It means that object response, object array in response, there is properties data. In that properties data is array with all posts inside them, and it is here. Immediately, for simplest and short coding like JavaScript is, we have set API data, and the parameter response date means that we mutate existing array, and existing array, it is existing array in our application, and because it is first call get, it is first array what we have, but always that component it is first what coming, but it cannot coming and have position in memory if we didn't declare it, and we declare it here. We declare API data, it is a state, and that state is, look at, it is created by hook use state, and at first, initial value is empty array. Initial value API data in this declaration is empty array. Here it is. And set API data is function state, and function set state is we declare it by by add of use state hook. And state API data can be mutated only by set API data function. Mutate, and it is immutable way of changing state. App component, this app component, there is only that one state, and we declare it here. And use effect will be activated only one time initial rendering, when a component app rendering first time, and use effect is hook, what we use for code what we want after component finished rendered. We want call mock server and ask with method get Axios.get, Axios library get. With that request get, we won't take from server existing object array with post in it. And we ask it, we request it here, and after receiving a response, we set AP data. We mutate we mutate response.data, that array, we mutate existing state API data, it is empty, and we mutate it in array what coming from server. It is mutate by immutable way. And after that we have array of post, but we call that API data. And here in this app component, here it is blog post menu left. It is blog post menu left. It is a list of title of every post. And that list we use as a menu. Because of that I call it menu. And properties, blog posts, plural, that properties is API data. Is API data. What is API data? It is array. It is object array full of post, I hope. And curly brackets means that it is not means I want to set parameter, but it is argument. No, it is concretely value. Here, what we assign blog post properties. Blog post properties. It means that blog post menu left is React element. It is React component, which we call also React element. It is object. And the object, there is the properties. These properties here we call we named blog posts equal API data, equal state in which we save, we memorize API data, we memorize array what coming from a mock server. Okay. When this element, there is properties blog post equal API data, we can go to blog post menu left, blog post menu left, blog post menu left, here it is, and look at what we follow blog post. Here it is, blog post in curly brackets. It means that it is argument now. Function blog post menu left. There is parameter, but here it is concretely argument, concretely value. Parameter is generic name of a variable, but here we have in curly brackets blog post concretely value. Which value? API data, API data value. Look at again in app.js, blog post properties equal API data. It is concretely value. It is array what coming from mock server, just here, and mutate empty array, mutate in full array. API data. Blog post menu left, blog post menu left, here it is. Concretely value array coming here in a parameter of this function. It is argument now, and we declare state on this this component. We declare state sorted post, and the function set sorted post assigned by use state hook function. Here it is declaration by assigning use state, and again empty array sorted post is empty array initial value. And in use effect here we sort this is declaration of sorted. Declaration of sorted. What means? How we sort? We sort from last to first. It means last post up. But to us, API data, or here, what is this blog post? It is this blog post. It is array where members coming from first to last, first, second, third, timely. But we now want last post top, last news. Yeah? And how we do that? We do that by sort, method sort, would have IB, and would be from B to I, parameter IB. It means the blog post like it, like original, and from first to last. And in body of that arrow function, we said contrary, b.id to a. It means last, first, first, last. Okay, it is B to A. By what? By ID. ID, we look at in ID field. Every post there is ID, 1, 2, 3, 4. It means that the biggest number, ID, would be first visible in list, in first place in list on the screen. And the method is a sort. This method sort exists for every array. But look at here, again, mutation by immutable way. Immutable way, mutate something by immutable way means in this situation, operator, spread operator, in front of our blog post means copy. This is in a square bracket, it is copy of this, what coming from server. And we sort copy. We don't sort original. Original we don't touch. Why it is important? It is important because we don't know other places in this component where we can use blog post and need original. And we don't think about that, we make it, but it is a rule, mutate by immutable. We all mutate by immutable way. And it is for less bug, it is for flow of data, and like this will not be spaghetti code. Okay. Blog post, and it is maintenance is better. Sort copy, and we work with this. Now in this variable sorted we have descending ordering, descending, not ascending but descending ordering of list of posts. And here what we said here, we said mutate sorted post, here it is, set sorted post, it is state, set sorted post, that state we mutate with function set sorted post, here it is mutation by immutable way. What we mutate? We mutate sorted, and it is a parameter sorted, but it is here it is argument. Here it is argument, because this copy of blog post is full value. It is value what coming from server, and here it is in parameter, and because of that sorted is full of value. It is array, complete array from server coming, and set sorted post means here argument concretely sorted array. Sorted array is now here in sorted post. This state is now after this is now sorted post, like we call it. And again here, dependency, about what we spoke in earlier video. Here is use effect, depend about blog post, depend about array what coming from server, and depend about that blog post. But a blog post in this component, what I see, only one sorted, and there is no changes. There is no mutate again, and it means that use effect would be called only initial value, first time when rendering component, and after that never again. Never again. Because blog post dependency will not be changed never again. Will not be changed never again. In this component, but will be changed in other component. Will be changed when we add some post, will be changed when we update blog post, will be changed when we delete some post. And will be interesting when rendering and when calling this use effect in blog post menu left. And I will add here alert. Here it is. Alert blog post finished rendering. Now let's go to here. I go to home. Blog post menu left. Finished rendering. Okay. Blog post menu left. Finished rendering. Okay. And now we will go again from beginning. Refresh. Refresh we must see that blog post menu left finished rendering. Okay. Blog post menu left finished rendering. Okay. Why 2 times? Here it is. First times and second times. Let's go to see again app.js. App.js. I don't have here alert. I will incorporate alert here also. Here it is. Alert app.js finished rendering. Okay, it is now, but I will start from beginning. Refresh. Blog post menu left finished rendering. It is first child on the app. First rendering child always. After that, parent. App.js finished rendering. Okay. And now again blog post menu left finished rendering. Do you know why it is changed again? Why changed second time? Because this when we declare in app set API data after declaring, but mutate is first here. Is first here. But on refresh we have in the first time when we rendering up, it is in moment refresh. In moment, and we start from this. First activate this, and activate this. After that, rendering this. After that, rendering up, and after that again rendering blog post menu left. Look at again. Okay, refresh. First, blog post menu left. Blog post menu left. It means that in this moment, blog post menu left, look at blog post menu left, blog post menu left. We have not contact with the server. And opening blog post menu left, we have sorted post empty. I look at in blog post, it is blog post menu left. Here is empty, coming blog post, this blog post is empty, because it is the first rendering and there is nothing before that. It is application is loading, is rendering. It is first rendering and must be rendered up that we have a blog post. But child component always first rendering. And look at app.js. This is a child component. And that child component here have properties, but it is empty. API data in that moment, here it is. API data is empty array. And there is no blog post. And here it is. We have a blog post menu left finished rendering. Look at screen. There is nothing. It is first rendering. There is must be rendered up that we have changed. And in this moment, use effect is called, and blog post was empty. In use effect, a blog post menu left. Here it is. Blog post menu left. Blog post menu left. In use effect, dependence was about blog post. And in that moment, first rendering, use effect is called, depend about blog post, okay, blog post is empty. And now we have rendered blog post menu left empty, with blog post empty. After that, rendering up and coming full of blog post from server. After that, up, coming up, and Axios get contact server, response have API from server, have array from server, and that array is full of post, not more empty. Here it is. And after that we have a new blog post. And because we create dependency about blog post, it means that changes Okay, after that array what coming from server here, first time coming from changes state. Here it is. And because of that, must be again rendered blog post menu left. And in that rendering, calling again use effect, because use effect depends about blog post. And the blog post was changed, coming first time because at first API would be empty, but after app.js rendering, we have a mutate, changed that set API data, and here would be changed blog posts. It was not empty, now it is a full new array full of posts, and that changes means that blog post menu left component have changed this, and have changed this blog posts. Because of a changes of here blog post, because of changes of this blog post, we have activation rendering of blog post menu left, and that rendering, because of this, calling use effect, and in that use effect we have this process again. It means blog post now is not empty, it is full of data. Sorted will be full of post. Sorted here as argument. We have mutate set sorted post. Here it is. Sorted post would be new state. First state was empty, now new state. And we have return, we have rendering this again. After that, it is finished rendering. Okay, blog post menu left finished rendering. It is first opening. Okay. Now you look at, we have not, look at left. There is no blog post menu left. There is no blog post menu left. It is blog post menu, right? We see now on the screen. But left, there is no, because app.js finished must be rendering. That we received complete state from server, complete array with post from server, and after that app.js that coming, we have again rendering of blog post menu left, because it is law, it is principal law for component. Every time when state changes, component rendering. Rendering means that we see on the screen changes. And now, after that, okay, we have blog post menu left finished rendering, and after that, okay, we will see left, here it is what we see left, this title, this rendering. We must here have a dependency, use effect dependency, because we must again rendering a component and use effect, call use effect when rendering finished. That component take new state, take new value that we can see on the screen, and here it is. And it is example where we need dependent of use effect. If we will not be dependency, we didn't have this. We didn't have this because left it happened processing that is in use effect. Processing of this is use effect. Mutation of sorted, it is in use effect. All this process is here finished. If we have not use effect, we have only this empty, sorted, posted, empty. We can try delete. Now it is not important. Now first time refresh. We have blog post menu left finished rendering. Okay, it is first. After that app.js finished rendering. Okay, but I am not now. I must go to home. Now look at home. We know menu left. Refresh. Blog post menu left finished, but it is empty. Okay, there is nothing here. App.js finished rendering. Okay, never again. We have empty. We have empty. Blog post menu left, blog post menu left, empty. Because of that, we must create here dependency. With that dependency, use effect dependency, we create better performance. We have rendering every time when changes, but we don't need every time use effect. And with that dependency, we control how would we call use effect. Because calling use effect is processing, very often contacting server. Here it is not, but we regulate performance of, we don't work that if we don't need. Let's get back to use effect, let's get back to app.js, Axios. Axios get request. In this component, I use only Axios get and promise. Always. We have Axios get is very popular, very simple, and because of that I get also Axios get. But in Axios get, we have hypertext transfer protocol, request and request, concretely get request, and response it have. And we use promise. What is promise is for asynchronous, better regulate asynchron working. Asynchron processing, it means that our main application working, but Axios get out of application as contact server, and it is asynchronous work. And promise is here very important. Promise is object. Axios is created by library Axios. Hypertext Transfer Protocol created 1992, 93, 90, when Team Lee Berners. It is beginning in first day. And after that we have Promise in 2016. We have Promise, and after that 2017 we have Axios. Let's ask artificial intelligence of that chronicle. Axios is a popular JavaScript library used for making HTTP requests from a web browser or Node.js. It was first released on February 9, 2016 by Matt Zabriskie, software engineer at Facebook at that time. Axios was created as a lightweight alternative to the popular HTTP client libraries of the time, such as jQuery, $Ajax, and AngularJS $HTTP. I said here that here jQuery and the $Ajax use XMLHttpRequest. Yes, jQuery Ajax method uses the XMLHttpRequest object to send HTTP request and receive response from server. The XHR object is built-in browser object that allows for asynchronous communication between the client side and the server side. When you make an Ajax request using jQuery method, it creates an instance of the etc. etc. Don't understand, you can ask it. It was XML HTTP request. It was a Microsoft object from what use in email in that time, and give it in public use for better user experience, because email would not open all pages, but only that part what have when we click on email, only that part open in single, when we're reading single mail. And I get back here. AngularJS, I can ask here, does AngularJS use also this? Yes, like jQuery method, AngularJS service also uses the XML HTTP request. But look at now. Does Axios use? Yes, Axios is a JavaScript library used for making it, etc., etc., etc. However, Axios provides higher level abstraction than the raw XR object, making it easier for developers to use and customize. Yes, it is all right. What it means that object XML HTTP request coming from Microsoft to public to open usefulness. And when we use it directly, we must write a lot of code, maybe 12, 15 rows. But it's very complicated, but we can that copy paste, but never mind, it is very bad for maintenance. And jQuery was, like I remember, was first what wrap that. This was one problem more. Not all browsers support XML/HTTP request, but when jQuery team, what created jQuery, is wrap that object for acceptance of almost all browsers, and it is, and it would be with Axios and Angular, first Angular and after that Axios last time, that we always have wrapping around this object. Wrap around this object for a reason. Axios, you see what's said here. Axios provides simple and intuitive API for making better and better coding, and better for our developers, better coding, better, less problematic, better for maintenance. Okay, and we have now Axios.get. We have also fetch API, what is not what is incorporated in React, and we can take this call free. It is not in copyright what I do, and you can set artificial intelligence create me fetch API instead of Axios here, and you will see that is same fetch API use promise, and promise request and response from first day functionate asynchron. It is by default it is asynchron job, but jQuery $.Ajax, Angular Ajax, Axios, all it is asynchron work, and all that get better and better with coding for us. Less and less coding, better understanding that coding, high level of we can set, and it is that process. And coming in all that, coming promise. Promise is object what make a little advanced in understandable of that code. Promise, and after promise, in all that coming keywords, I think 2017, 2018, coming keywords asynchron and await, async through await. Here it is. I use it in crude for read. You can see. Look at async. It is keyword, and await. And what happened here? Async and await. We don't need it because we have asynchron communication. We have it with Axios. We have it by HTTP request get. We have that with Axios library.get. We have that by a promise object. But now we have an asynchronous function and await again. Why that many items, that many objects, that many keywords, that many intervention for same job? It is because better and better, less and less hard coding. Here it is difference. Here is like synchron coding. Very like synchron coding. There is no difference coding here and coding anywhere. Other here, coding here. There is no difference. But it is asynchron work. It coming with a keyword asynchron await. All other is same. We have Axios get. This await keywords coming here, and we declare response. We declare post directly to response data, and look at, there is no that 10 like again. Let's go to blogs post menu. Blog post menu. Look at, we don't have that get by response and the curly brackets 10, that callback 10 is method, and in that method there is parameter arrow function. It is callback function. Callback function because a 10 have access to response. Response happened to get, but get after get we have a 10 method. 10 method take that response. It is callback. Callback is always finished like here a response here is argument, because it is concretely response. There is a properties data, it is response data, and we declare here again sorted data and mutate sorted data. Mutate that set API data, we mutate API data with this argument, and all this inside its yellow parentheses. All this, look at, it is method promise, Axios response, 10, full value actions, any void promise like, etc., etc. Always we have a promise here with all others layer of asynchron working, and this combination with the response now with like this, it's not more complicated, but before promise it will be more complicated, more code, and now it is less code, but sometimes we have more this 10. Now we have 110 here. Response 110 and one catch. It is both method from promise, and this method 10, all this arrow function, there is a result mutation of API data. Mutation of API data. this complete 10. Again, we have here response.data sort. I look at, yes, sort data. Okay, we from it is we don't sorted set API data. We sorted response.data, response.data, and I look at it because of mutation, must be mutate by immutable, but here it is. It is not mutation by immutable way. It is directly changes of response data. Response data is array what coming from mock server, and this response data directly we sort, because it is a sort coming from server. We can that, and here is a mutation of API data. Mutate of course with something what coming, but not raw coming, but create sort on that what coming from server. Original coming from server, and before and we can that change directly, classical directly change without immutable, not immutable way, and but after that coming in our component, we must that mutate on immutable way. What we mutate? We mutate our state on this blog post menu component. Here it is, state, and it is now array from server, sorted descending. If something get wrong, we have catch. It is promise, but when we use async keywords, async in JavaScript keywords, async through rate, we don't need 10 and that kind of writing. We don't need callback. We don't need callback. Because callback can be very confused if we have more callback. This 10, there is arrow function for parameter, but it is not parameter, it is argument. Why? Because this response is date concretely array, concretely value. We can call this like we want, but it is it. It is what coming from server. And the best call it response. We can call it X, but response is better. It is a name what say us what is it. It is a response from server. And that response is array. It is about 10. Get 10. What we get array. What we 10, we 10 have that arrow function, and with response from get use in that arrow function. And this arrow function is callback function, and is a callback function we call here argument function. It is argument function because here we have by value, not by not by reference. It means that function 10, promise function 10, have parameter arrow function, but that arrow function give us concretely value, and it is value. It is by value, and the function is always by value. We will see when we have a by reference, pass by reference, but here we have a pass by value, and it is function argument. Function argument, and function as parameter is always by value. Here, function give us some value, and it is by value, not by reference. And it's true here. We have a value response here, parameter. That response, there is properties data. We sort that data. We sort that array, descending way, and we mutate in immutable way. All is good, and we have state here. This our state. It is array from server. It is blog post menu. Blog posts menu. A component. And I use that Axios get. I didn't use keyword async await. And here in CRUD, read concretely, we have async and await. And we don't have 10, 10, 10 and callback function. And that callback function, it is very confused. It is something excellent until some level, but try and await is created last in that history series about asynchronous working for less job developer, less job for better understanding and for performance and flexibility, like C in theory, but nothing meaning. Okay, but we see here in writing, it is now like synchronized code, not asynchron, like synchronized. It means asynchron and await help us to write code like synchron. Here it is. We create, what means synchron? Synchron means we create variable response, declare, we assign a value Axios.get, it is a request, HTTP request to endpoint address. After that, we declare constant post, we declare variable post in equal response.data. And after that, we mutate existing post here in read. Existing post, here it is, existing post, it is empty. Now it is full post from server. After that, it is state false, alert what I use to see rendering, and catch if something gets wrong. Here is a try catch. Now very classical, now last version of catch error. And inside of this we don't see promise, but promise is very, very active here. Very active here. Axios. Set posts. Nothing here. Try catch console, and here response data. We also have I get over this word that I see. That I see explanation. No, look at now. And now at the Axios export get response response data posts. I never see here promise. I don't see here promise, but promise is here also. But thanks to async and await, we don't write 10 and callback function. And really, it is better to see. But I ask. Now artificial, I said. Okay, look at here. I do not see promise. Does promise here, or is or we do not promise when we use async through await keywords. When using the async await keyword, promise are still being used behind. Promise are still being used behind the scene. The await keyword is used to wait for promise to be resolved or rejected, so that the code execution can continue. In fact, every function that is declared with the async keyword automatically returns promise. Yeah, this technology promise, that object promise, is very important for that waiting and not broken our application, waiting and waiting until coming back from server response. What kind of response? Response with error or response data? In your code example, the Axios get method returns promise that resolves with the response data by using the await keyword. You are waiting for the promise to be resolved before moving on to the next line of code. If the promise is rejected, an error occurs, the catch block will handle the error. So, even though you don't see the word promise explicitly in your code, promises are still being used behind the scene when you use asynchronous await. Again, when I go over this code, I never see promise, but when I go blog post menu, here 10, you look at promise. method promise, and it is React get is Axios get library, and 10 and parameter, etc., etc. Dakle, 10 is a promise, but it exists here also, like here, but not visible in code. Crude, we can see create also. Try, it is create JS. Yes, here it is. You look at, we declare variable and declaration assigning async keyword and arrow function, and try, it is read component, and again try catch, it is for catch error if exists. But here is again declare constant response and equal await, waiting for promise 10 after this post, etc., etc. Here, and here I don't see post, but it is, we read now in artificial intelligence respond, and really it is better code for us, understandable, better for reading, better for maintenance, excellent. Then 10 callback, then use callback here in a blog post menu or anywhere. Blog post menu, look at 10, and this callback can be very complicated if we have a lot of callback function. For this video, I think it is enough. For me, is very interesting. We work with artificial intelligence. My product is my word. I record this video for total beginners, and in my job, artificial intelligence give me 90% productivity. In what? Can write code, can explain code, but explanation of that code is, in my thinking, is not good for beginners. But about all that will decide subscribers and buyer of my book. Does it my method of learning, my method of video, my method of explanation, does it good for them? Because every learner is own personal level of knowledge, and every learner see by his eyes my video and all other video, and learners the best know what kind of explanation is for him. I like this kind of explanation. I like detail. Go to button of understanding in detail, and artificial intelligence. Look at, you see in this example, and you will see in more example. You see how it is excellent communication between me and that chat GPT. Microsoft of artificial intelligence helped me a lot of because it is like I talk with live with some developer, with some who working just what I work but know more. And I asked him something, he explained me. It is not same, but for me, it is not same for beginner. But for me, it is same because I know a lot of about programming because I programming a lot of time, and I learned here only that news about React here concretely, and when I understand the explanation of artificial, but that kind of explanation it is not for for beginner because it is a short, it is directly short, and I must ask a lot of question. It is not enough one question. Here example. I have a lot of question, not one. Look at. We start when Axios have been invented. Here it is, and. I ask about jQuery, and now, because I know for that, I ask only for you, that you see that first was this object of Microsoft, and what was jQuery Ajax, and explanation. Again, does AngularJS use XML? Look at, a lot of question, yes. Does Axios use XML? Yes, yes, and also you, if you can, ask like that, and if you like this kind of communication and use something, you know what you can with artificial intelligence. But in the future, when you would know more and more, artificial would be more and more useful for us. Because of that, I think that only beginners need teacher. After beginning, after fundamental knowledge about programming and concretely language, you can get on to work. Every employer would give you a job if you like learn and if you said what you know, and very important that employer see that you like to learn. How will see that you like to learn? We'll see if you explain something what you know. If I would be an interviewer, I would ask, okay, explain me what you like. What you like, explain me. What you think that you know excellent to explain. That you know something from button up, some part of code. It can be only one statement. It can be expression. It can be some part of code. But that I heard how you explain me. If I am total beginner, how you would be explain me. It is very, very important. And because of that, learn what you learn, you understand from button up. Understand. Here we have a little history. All that is important for developer know that history, because we see how thinking get up, how developers thinking, how step by step get up, get better and better. Programming, and you will see trend, what will be in the future, and does also it happen in other language, because where we have a lot of version in shorter time, and we see with our eyes and with our practice that it's better and better, it have future. It have a future. And contrary, if that there is no in some language, there is no future. Okay. If you know somebody that need video like this, tell them. Spoke about this video through your social network. Subscribe if you like it, like, comment, engage. Every engagement means community grow and knowledge grow. Every of us have better environment for learn. Thank you for watching this video.